And welcome to our deep data dive and solar features section. A regular feature at the Smash News Network, least busted name in news. We're going to start things out looking at the heliospheric current sheet here. Yeah, the sun, it emits plasma. The plasma's oriented to one pole or the other. Earth is in a North Pole current sheet, and we're not expecting any changes coming soon. We'll keep you posted on that. Stay tuned to the channel. Here's the GOES magnetometer over the past 3 days, and we are expecting a coronal hole wind stream to be arriving at any moment. Next, the line of sight plot. Not a lot of solar activity at the moment. Make sure you watch our previous video for a little bit of additional information about that. We've been putting out 3 daily space weather videos per day in shorter sections. So this is the one about solar features and magnetism. Here's the coronal hole line of sight plot. It shows you the sun's B field as well. This is our deep data dive section. Keep in mind this data is about an hour old and can change quite suddenly with basically no warning. Next we'll show 193 angstroms, one of the many ionized states of iron that we find on the surface of the sun. You can see a little bit of plasma activity up here. It looks like most of it has collapsed back down to the lower corona and chromosphere. Coronal hole there just in the Earth-facing zone, and we're expecting a wind stream from another coronal hole at any time today on January 22nd. So we've covered coronal holes. Now we're going to look at sunspots. We've got, I think, only 2 named groups at the moment. So a downtick in solar activity. There's a named group over here and over here. Take a closer look at the flare probabilities. The flare probabilities are not high, as these sunspots are simple sunspots. So we've got 2933 alpha class, 2934 alpha class, a possible new region forming up here, and a region trying to form down here. But yeah, so only 2 named groups at the moment. It looks like only 2 named groups. And make sure you check our bonus features. We'll show you the highest resolution imagery we can get. No major flares here, just a B-class intensification. That's the GOES X-ray flux over the past 3 days. And you can see this proton event now subsiding. It was associated with the M-class flare that we saw here. It was an M5.5, a pretty significant flare, and it did send some relativistic particles all the way to Earth's field-aligned currents, causing high-frequency radio blackouts around the poles for an extended period. So the real-time solar wind here, we're expecting a big uptick in the solar wind density. That'll be the onset of the coronal hole wind stream that's forecasted. Current conditions are just under 6 protons per cubic centimeter for the solar wind density. Solar wind speed 433 kilometers per second. Fairly unremarkable here over the past 24 hours. KP index is only at 2. That's a measurement of global geomagnetism if you're new to the channel. KP index, global geomagnetism. Each bar representing 3 hours there on the KP index. And here's Earth's magnetic moment from space out to about 12 Earth diameters. This model is showing magnetohydrodynamic pressure in nanopascals. And we're not expecting any big fireworks in this, with the state of the solar wind being fairly consistent here over the past 4 hours. Some minor pulses happening there at the end, some reductions in pressure. Next, Earth's magnetic moment from the ground. Ground magnetic perturbations. Geospace delta B means changes to Earth's B field. The scale here is in nanotesla. Delta B means changes in the B field. Since that refresh will let it play all the way through, we don't edit the videos to get them onto screens as quickly as possible. And congratulations on realizing the channel exists. Please tell your friends and foes about the channel. We're not so sure the algorithms are being helpful. Anyway, that's what's going on with Earth's magnetic moment from the ground. Next, a diagram of the solar system. We like people to be oriented. Here's where things will be in a week. We will have a crescent waning as we approach another new moon at the beginning of February. Next, a star chart. If you're up before dawn, you may see Mars and Venus rising ahead of the sun. The yellow line here is the ecliptic. The blue line is the galactic plane. This data from in-the-sky.org. You can put in your own location. The chart we're using here is the all-sky chart, which you can find up here under charts. Next, a quick look at two coronagraphs. Here's the view from the Discover and it's the Soho Lasco C3 and the Stereo A coronagraph here at Lagrange point 5. There you go. There's the Soho Lasco C3 on the right. From this perspective, the Earth would be behind you. And the Stereo A coronagraph here at Lagrange 5, Earth would be off in this direction. So this is L1 and this is L5. And their respective views of the sun. No coronal mass ejections showing up there in the current imagery. So that's our solar features and coronal holes and deep data dive section. Thanks for tuning in. Congratulations on realizing the channel exists. I've been your host, Dan, aka Smash-A-Mash, signing off from the Smash News Network, least busted name in news.